Hello and welcome to Reflections, episode 10. This is
the Big 10.
The Big 10. This one is about our visit to Pedernales Falls State Park in end of October of 2020. It's currently 3:45 a.m. I'm about to drive to Pedernales Falls State Park just to get a few drone shots. We're in. I just made it to the falls. I'm here a little bit early. It's 5:13. Sunrise isn't for another hour. So I think I can set up for some pretty cool stuff before then. It's cold. So a little bit of context behind this part of the story is that I got drone approval from Texas Parks and Wildlife, which takes quite a bit of time to do, to fly a drone that morning because the park was mostly closed. There was something special about that day, and it happened to be right after we had visited.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So I had to wake up that Monday before work.
The time just happened to line up with our visit, but really we were done visiting. I think the park was closed when you had drone approval, so we didn't even be camping there anyways. But we had just been camping there the weekend before, and then this was a Monday. Yes.
So I had work at the job I had at the time, so I had to go there a little early before work.
At 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Because we also live an hour and a half, a good hour and a half from where the state park is in Johnson City. So, just a little context. Had to get it all done before you clocked in.
Yeah. So that's why I started out with that, because we jumped back and forth playing with time a little bit. I didn't want to just do it boring, linear.
Yeah.
So that's why. Anyways.
Time is a construct,
Right. So we've already watched this. We've already done this Reflections, if you want to think of it that way.
Yeah.
We've always have met.
It is currently 41 degrees, and our first camping trip that is not warm, and we have no heating devices besides sleeping bags. I asked Ethan to put up the rain fly to help with air. Thank you. It's bolstering in here already. It really does feel different though. That's just not going to work. There we are.
That was so before this trip we did not have the rain fly for the tent we were using, because we were borrowing the tent from your parents, but when we opened the tent bag there was no rain fly in there. But then we were camping with them for this trip, and so we finally we had the rain fly for the tent. But it was also our first time to need the rain fly camping, because it had not rained on all of our previous camping trips, and then this was the first time of it being cold. So kind of the way that worked out is interesting to me.
Serendipitous.
Yeah.
But it created a heat dome before we had more advanced sleeping bags too.
Yeah, this was just our childhood sleeping bags that we had happen to have from just going to camp and sleepovers and stuff.
Yeah.
We did not have our fancy sleeping bags that we got later on, but yeah, it's funny watching this, the progression. We're not gonna make it.
I think it's fine once we get to breathing.
It felt different before you put the rain fly on. I was I don't think this is gonna work. And I'm starting to probably go into a coma now, so.
Good night.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I remember not wanting to use the rain fly, because one thing I really liked about those early days of camping was sleeping under the stars and falling asleep like your eyelids are like shutting, and like the last thing that you see is like the stars above you, and that was really cool. But I was like, oh, it's just like too cold to not be using the rainfly, or else we probably would have had it on like before that, like as like way before when we had set up, and not just like putting it on right before we were going to bed, because I think I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then now we're flipping back in the timeline.
Work before work. That's why it says that, because it's before work. Test shot looked pretty good. Once that sun comes up, it's gonna get pretty crazy up in here. I don't know what's gonna happen. It is super quiet.
We're at Pedernales. I don't know how to say it. I say Pedernales, but I know that's not how you say it. Pedernales State Park, and it's cold. And we're walking back to our campsite. I just brushed my pearly whites, so I kind of like it, like how cold it is. Reminds me of Alaska.
We went to Alaska in 2019 on a cruise, in case nobody knew that. But that is...
I was really excited to like camp at Pedernales, because I had never camped there before, but like, well, obviously, because when we started, that was pretty much like my first times camping, and we hadn't been here yet. But you like grew up camping there with your family, and so I had heard a lot of things, like it was like the park, you know what I mean? So like you and your family had like a lot of stories camping there, and like talking about how like beautiful it was. So I was really excited to like experience this park. And so even though it was cold, I was like, I kind of like it. Yeah, because it was just like all a part of experiencing
the hype.
Yeah.
Like a little makeshift trail. It's my kind of trail.
Yes.
That's a camera?
You ready?
I'm recording.
Three of my sisters, Chloe, Emily, Katie. Chloe's the one recording. Ava, my niece, dog, Marcy, mom, and dad. All the people, and Heather and I, who are on this trail.
Yeah.
That's everybody. But they didn't really want to be in the video all that much. This is only being recorded because Chloe just wanted to record stuff.
Yeah.
And
on the GoPro.
On the GoPro.
Yeah.
And so you'll see why.
It's cool that you have this footage of, yeah,
like our family hike. Because I went with the intention of just capturing the park and the vibes. And so this additional family stuff being recorded is mostly bonus, yeah. So
Ethan, if the screen turns off, is it still recording?
yeah, tap the screen and
Okay. Or hike.
You recording?
Hey. We're recording everyone. Look at the tree above you. Cave shot.
Open.
Oh, come on, Ethan.
Straight up down.
Yeah. It's Marcy.
Oh, someone take Marcy.
Marcy, come.
Take the blood out of you? I bet.
No, I think he hit his shoulder. He hit his shoulder right on that rock. He's bleeding somewhere.
Head probably. His head is bleeding.
Oh, Dad. He definitely hit his head.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know, I guess it just fell on a trail. That was the first time I've seen something like that. And
Yeah.
it was like being recorded later on. He obviously, you may have seen it, the perspectives, he's fine. But
But it was really scary.
Yeah.
Like, to just see it. Well, I was like further back, so I didn't see it happen. I was like hearing it. And then Chloe like got it on video, and then you were like kind of back with me too. But it was like watching it watching the fall like later on was like, holy cow, because he just like, yeah, it was scary. It was scary.
Yep.
And did he like? I think we had to like go back, or I think I went with like your mom or something, or like some of us like went back to like get help because he was like having like he couldn't get up, like he was having trouble like getting oriented, and we didn't know if he had like a concussion or like he was just like in pain, and so we didn't like want to move him and stuff.
Yeah.
Not all of that's like on here, because you kind of like cut to the next thing, so that you're not like sitting in it too long in like the video. But it was like pretty freaky. Yeah.
Well, this is the end of the video. Chloe stopped recording.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's true.
So we don't-
Yeah, because
no.
we like all jump into action and like trying to figure out what we're gonna do and stuff, and
Yeah.
you don't have time to just like record these. Yeah.
Well, in the emergency part, not in the back. Hold on, man. I'm going to.
So yeah, I was the one that went into the hospital with him for some reason. But I guess I brought the GoPro with me, and then
Because it was like COVID, so it was limited on like who could go in.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I think I might have been the one that was relied on to gather information if there's anything bad. But
Yeah.
turns out he was fine. He just kind of hurt his shoulder a little bit and bonked his head, but
Yeah.
head bleeding is crazy to see, and then he didn't have a concussion or anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll
Yeah.
know more later. But
So they did fix your little noggin up a little bit, so there's just some information in here on laceration care. So just keep it clean and dry.
we are retracing our steps since Heather lost her sunglasses, and we are going back to the spot where my dad fell.
He's gonna run. Good shot. Got it?
Yeah, so we just went back to camping because he was fine.
What else were you gonna do?
Yeah.
He wound up being just fine, so it was like, all right,
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna get back to
Yeah.
what we were gonna do that day. Yeah.
Yeah, this video was hard to edit because I didn't know how to approach it, like with sensationalization or anything, and it was just kind of.
Right. It's just like the reality of
Yeah.
what happened.
I think
Yeah.
that's what this video was
Yeah.
good and helpful with. Was
Yeah.
each moment has its own specific feeling behind it. So,
Right. Like the freaky music is like not really sensationalizing it because that's legitimately how it like felt because you didn't know if he was okay or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but you see that throughout this whole video is just like, it's kind of a roller coaster.
Up and down, yeah.
Because you're like, how should I feel right now? Should
Yeah.
I be freaking out? Should I be upset? But it's literally us, how we experienced it too. It was like, well, guess he's fine.
Yeah.
We'll go back to camping because it was our first full day there.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, it's really hard for my family to plan a trip camping even for a weekend because it's a big
There's a lot of
logistics,
moving parts and people involved. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we went back for your sunglasses and
Yeah.
Look, they were like right here. I should have left them where they laid.
I'm gonna put them safe away. Thank you, Katie.
we found Heather's glasses, but we're still gonna go to the spot where it happened. We were literally here this morning, except the sun was over here. We're passing by landmarks.
It's not like we haven't been here 500 times. Not Heather though. Heather's only been here.
I've never been here.
One time, that's it.
Charlie, he went up there.
Yep, and he fell right there.
He went up this way.
That's a big fall.
He grabbed onto this limb, and this is the one that broke, and he fell all the way down there. He slipped right here.
It doesn't look like that bad from the video, but that's quite a...
That's pretty far.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's at
far.
least 10 feet.
And he just went like this.
He went straight down.
So like from here up here, straight down to right there.
Like his shoulder hit
His
here.
shoulder,
his hand hit
head.
there.
Yeah.
If his shoulder hadn't hit,
Dang.
that would have been bad.
That was us like processing what had happened.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
I think for me, I had to make sure that it was like multiple points of failure and it wasn't like an old man fall.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, because you're like, oh crap. Because y'all been like camping there forever. Y'all gone on this little like trail behind the campsites 500 times, like Katie said.
Yeah.
Like it's something that you and your family have done for years and years and years. And then your dad falls on it. And then you have this feeling of like, oh, does my dad fall now? Like, is that, yeah, that's like scary. Yeah.
This fog is beautiful. There's something about being alone, but also surrounded by nature. I feel very at home here.
What was that all about?
I don't know. Do you want to hear what I have to say? Do you want to feel what I'm feeling? I think because it's just little what things symbolize. We've been to this park 100 times, but after you think about what I'm saying after all of this, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I'm like home here. So then I edited at the falls. What is home to people? It's about what immediately comes afterwards, what I say, and then what you see, and then the music. Like, you have to just kind of feel it, because it can't really be expressed in a speech or words. Really, it's it sits in this package of whatever this video is,
Yeah.
you know, shouldering, well, you know, instead of it just sitting here in me, it's moving towards something that I can express, which, you know, and I try not to make it feel performative and more expressive, you know.
Yeah.
But you get it, right? You get something,
I get it, yeah.
whatever that is. So, anyways. And then, of course, you know, my dad, who did hurt his shoulder a little, can't exactly do all the things necessary now to pack up their camper.
Yeah.
And so it's...
But you were there to help, so.
Yeah. So it's just kind of... That feeling just keeps on going here.
Gotta let her sling every time.
Want this all the way up?
This lighting though
Is it good?
looks pretty good, yeah.
All right. Am I seen in a good light there?
Yeah. 'Cause you need more than one thing.
I forgot about Jake.
Yeah.
The little weenie dog. That's Jake. That my mom
In
told
case
me.
you were wondering.
Yep. I'll also say, I mean, we've said it on a podcast before, you know, to everybody who's seen every piece of media that we've ever made,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
my mother did, in fact, pass away last year. And so this, I think, is some of the only footage that exists within, and it's all within like the Go There Do That, you know,
Universe.
you know, whatever we were trying to do at the time.
Yeah.
And so that's,
Special.
I'm very thankful for that. And it just so happens to be at this place
That was very special.
also. So hold on to this feeling, because we're getting more deep into it as we go along. But to lighten the mood, here's noon at the falls. So we had the sunset. We started with the sunset at the falls. We go there 3 times, right? Once for the sunset. Now this is the middle of the day, noon, and then there's a third part, but we haven't gotten to that yet. So here's
And it's just me and it's just me and you. Like everyone had left at this point, so we were like, okay, like now let's toodle around the falls, because I've never really like seen them. Yeah.
Yep, and we'll get deeper into that too later. But here we go. All right, we made it to the falls. It's our last day here, and we are gonna go do some exploring down there. I mean, we just didn't want to miss out on the last couple hours we have here by not going to the falls again. Literally the park name, right here.
Times and places are all in who you share them with, and it's life, and the point is enjoying who you share it with. Joy is who you share it with.
What's the backwards hat mean?
The backwards hat is like, you gave me a camera and I can't see whenever, like whenever the hat's forward, it's hard for me to like see and like manage the camera when I'm trying to take photo or video.
Oh yeah, that's why you turn it back, because
Yeah.
when you look through the viewfinder, it's,
Yeah, but also, like I used to like wearing my hat backwards, like when I was young, but I think it's from the same type of feeling where it's like when I'm wearing a hat forward, I like can't see everything.
Oh.
That I like want to see, but I also like wearing a hat as like an accessory or whatever. And so, yeah, I was like turning it backwards, like getting serious about like this little adventure, I guess. Yeah.
Jumping around.
Yeah.
Because Pedernales Falls is great for that. As you can see, this is like so much fun to just run around on the rocks.
Yes.
Because it's like low risk. It's just little shallow waters at a lot of parts,
Most
you
of
know.
them, yeah.
And
It was really fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's like a
Yeah.
playground.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the weeks and the weekends are keeping close who you spending with. And in time,
That like encapsulates the differences in our personality. Like you're like just like jump over the big spot and I'm like I'm short. I have to, you know. But yeah, I'm like I'm gonna go around. But
Yeah.
I'm still gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it my way.
Yeah. Yeah, work on your vertical.
Yeah.
and in time, what you find is the time is who you spend it with. Joy is who you share it with.
Also like your song choice here. It's like fun and it like fits the vibe, but then also the lyrics are sweet because it's like, yeah, the joy in who you share it with or whatever. Good choice. I know you like spend a lot of time finding
It's not a random
perfect
selection.
music. Yeah.
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 But
Kudos.
then it slowly fades. Oh, I guess I'll add in. There's an instrumental version and the not instrumental version with words, but I mixed those two together. So just now there was a transition between the vibe, and
Yeah.
so that's how I was allowed to let it fade out without like words, because if you fade out with the words it's kind of like, oh, goodbye song. But
Yeah.
this is probably the best song transition that I have in the video, I guess. It's hard to mix music, you know.
Yeah.
It's like to keep the vibe.
That was a black snake. And I'm not going back through those trees, those bushes. That's where they are. So, how are we gonna get back?
What'd you see?
I saw a big black snake and it just into the bushes, and I was right there. And then I turned back around because you said, can you do that again? So you probably just saved my life. And I'm not going any further, and I'm also not going back to the way we came because there was a lot of bushes and that's where they are. So what's your plan? What should we do?
I guess we're stranded.
Should we call for the helicopter?
All that fun.
Yeah.
And then
Ruined.
the snake comes by.
Yeah. I hadn't even like crossed my mind that, and maybe that sounds like silly and naive, but I was just like having a good time, and so I was not thinking about like there being snakes around, even though that makes sense because it's like a rocky area, bushes, and it's like I just was not expecting to see that, and I had not had a lot of experience with snakes. Honestly, I would probably react the same way-ish now. I still am not like a huge snake fan. Like, you just mind your business, I mind mine, but like I would have recovered quicker than I did here as far as like my panic anxiety, because I literally like was frozen. Like I was like, oh, I can't go forward because I was like trying to get to this other like spot, but I was like, oh, I can't go forward, I can't go back, because I was like thinking of all the places we'd already been and how like there easily could have been snakes there too, because and so I was like pretty freaked out.
Snakes
like
on the
I was like joking
playground.
about it, but I was also not joking.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, the helicopter you were joking about.
Right.
Yeah. I said snakes on a playground earlier.
Instead of on a plane.
I guess, yeah. But then, to the point where I literally like left you there, as you can see here. I jumped across. Get on that rock and come around.
I don't want to get up. I don't know. I'm not going to make it. I'm not.
You can literally go like this to that rock.
I can't make it to that one.
You can't?
No. I might need you to pull.
That was a close one.
Confidence just shattered.
Plummeted. Yeah. Well, it's like your fear like literally warps your reality, because the reality of it is that we had just come that way, so like clearly I can make those jumps and like those little climbs and stuff because we'd done it on the way there. But I was so afraid that it, like my mind was telling me like, oh, you can't do that again, like you got lucky the first time, you know. But that's like how fear works. It just like warps your reality. Yeah, but it is interesting to see, because like before it's just like we're treating it like a playground and just like plopping along, like hopping, jumping, climbing on all, you know, the stuff, and then I got scared, and it's just like, I'm like, oh, I can't do any of this because I'm scared, because that's what your fear is telling you, is that you can't do any of that.
Even after the danger's gone, like when the fear sticks around still, and that's what prevents you from moving forward.
Yep. But luckily, I did move forward, because you left me there and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like what do you, I didn't actually want to get helicoptered off the rock, because that would be incredibly embarrassing. So I was probably more afraid of being embarrassed than
Well, the fear
than the snakes.
Fear of embarrassment kicked in.
Yeah.
But then you ask for help, a little bit when it's like, oh
well, it's like deep right there. I'm like, I don't want to slip in right there, because I'm like, I'll be in it. It's not a little puddle.
That makes
like
sense.
the other spots.
So
That was a close one.
Yeah, it was. If we had a pool there,
Oh God, let me speedster.
Okay.
Can you do this one?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, and we're back.
Okay.
Oh wait, we gotta go over here first. Last stop.
I guess I recorded that spring because we had talked about it before recording this, and you had said that
I had like I was trying to get it with my camera, but I like just, especially at that time, but even still, don't have like the same eye and like ability as you with like video. So I had this like idea, but then I couldn't like execute it And so I was like, oh, I want you to do it. But we'd already kind of like moved on. But you like remembered when we like stopped and you were like, oh, wait, let's go do this thing that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's in there.
Yeah.
This episode is named Rise and Falls. And
Yeah.
that's why.
But also, it's got a lot of meanings.
Yeah.
Because, like, your dad fell.
I had named it Rise, Fall, Repeat before getting to this. I looked through all the footage and I saw this and I was like, oh, it's called Rise and Falls now because it's the rise and falls of the Pedernales River. Yeah. What happens upstream impacts the area in minutes. That's what that says. I don't know if you can beat this feeling. Okay, so this is the sunrise. So now we just got done with the noon one. So the sunset was with the family, and the noon, the height of the sky, was with Heather. And then now at the beginning of it all, just like the beginning of the video or whatever, it's just me by myself, which is also interesting. And so when I was talking about feelings earlier, I say here, I don't know if you can beat this feeling, for me at least. And so me now editing this had to try to match that same feeling, you know, because I'm like, what feeling?
Yeah.
If I wasn't trying to, you can tell I try something and I can't say it with words. It can only be done with the combination of visuals and music and sound. For me at least. So, for me at least. Anyways.
So that's how you feel about Pedernales. Pedernales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's a pretty beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have any other notes about that?
It's all
Nothing
there.
else? Okay.
What else?
Okay.
I chose.
Speaks for itself, yeah.
Yeah, it's the fog. You don't really know what to focus on with the fog, and then once the light hits it, there's literally tornadoes that happen that you can see in that footage if you look hard
Within
enough.
the fog, yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's a fish, a carp that jumps up. And the only way I got that was because I just left the camera there recording. I was trying. They were jumping everywhere.
Yeah.
But they would be out of focus, or I'd be moving too much, or you know. Once I stopped trying to get it, then that one jumped up, and it was in focus and everything.
Yeah.
Once I let go of trying, you know, and then it just happened. Something.
Yeah.
Lots of.
I would say that was something. Yeah.
Yeah. So. What else you want me to say?
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
very heavenly.
Yeah.
A lot of layers to Pedernales Falls, you know? As you can see in the ridges of the drone footage. Lots of layers to understand. So. I would say today is a success. It's here for about 2 hours. I got what I needed. Very beautiful. It was just me out here, which is great. My own little private sunrise with the Pedernales Falls. So the context behind this was, since I was the only one there, a ranger showed up, Ranger Steven, and he had seen a vehicle with no permits on it because I got there a little early before anyone else was there.
Yeah, 5 a.m.
So I couldn't register to be there, but I had a day pass and everything, and I had all the right drone approval, and so he came up and had approached me thinking I was trespassing, but then I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
you-
because the
yeah.
park was closed. Like, there wasn't supposed to
Yes,
be
it was also
any
closed.
visitors there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was interesting, and then I was like, so you can hear a bit of radio chatter in the beginning, and that's the park superintendent telling him, saying make sure he stops by the office before he leaves, and then
But yeah, I knew he
good.
was supposed to be here. Yeah.
yeah because I have an email from the superintendent. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to email the rest of us. Can you stop by the office before you head out today?
Okay.
The rest of the permit all set up and whatnot. And otherwise, you're good. We saw a vehicle here early in the morning, and that's always a red flag to us. Either someone that did not leave yesterday and is in trouble, someone that snuck in behind someone.
Okay, I figured, I got here way before anything opened too.
You see any goats this morning?
Goats? Just deer.
Okay. Usually around this time in the morning, I've heard of goats that's either leaving or coming back to this area.
I will ask for one favor. Would you mind giving me a ride back up? Okay. Were you working on Saturday? In the morning, my dad fell on a trail and busted his head open.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I was there for that.
His head injuries are no joke. We went to the ER though. It was like a miracle. Nothing was broken or no concussion or anything. I was pretty amazed.
Yeah, we've had a lot of head injuries here at the park, so we're always very cautious and always recommending that someone y'all go to the ER or whatnot. But for the most part, so far we've had some pretty good luck here. I did hear the drill in the morning for that permit. It's 9 times out of 10 a bad thing.
Oh, I'm glad I'm that one time.
Yeah.
What was your name?
I'm Steven.
Steven. I'm Ethan.
You meet you? Hope your stuff turns out really good.
Thanks. I'll stop by the HQ. You too.
Also, like I've heard this story a couple of times through the year because I wasn't there. So I've heard you like tell the story a couple of times over the years, like to me and to other people or whatever. And I always envisioned like the ranger being like a little perturbed that you were even like right, that you were supposed to be there. And so it's funny like seeing the interaction because I like imagined it like a little more hostile. Like whenever you said like that he, you know, had approached you, thought you weren't supposed to be there, I imagined it like more like aggressive. And then you said that when you got back up that you like asked for a ride, and I was like, I've always imagined like the ranger being like, this guy, like, golly, like, can you believe this guy? But then he was like super chill and nice about it. And so it's funny, it's been funny to like see the footage, and I'm like, oh, that's like, even though that's how you told the story, that's like not how I imagined it happening. But it was like really like a kind, chill, genuine interaction. Yeah.
It was more of a relief, just like, oh, well, this isn't a problem.
Yeah,
so
then I don't have to.
just here because he likes the park, I guess.
Yeah.
So keep in mind I had a Monday morning meeting before
that you still had to make.
that I still had to get to. So that ride up did save me a few minutes because there's from the parking lot down to the falls, it is kind of a walk. So, but I'm glad he drove down to save me time.
Yeah.
Me too. Well, he was very nice. They thought I was trespassing on a state park. He was very respectful, but he's like, you realize you're trespassing on a state park? And I was like, oh no, I didn't think I was. And I wasn't. I did get here before the office opened though. And that's where the confusion came from. I would have checked in, but I couldn't. I got here a little early. Gonna go do that now.
Mr. John driving.
I just noticed that sign outside says park at capacity. Sorry, we're closed to all visitors. So I didn't have any like proof that it was closed, but yeah.
Well, just because it's at capacity doesn't mean it's like closed.
They just weren't allowing people in.
Yeah.
If you drove up, but also you needed the code to get in.
Right, but you happen to have the code. You could get in. You actually would have been screwed getting there so early, and like you wouldn't have been able to get it all in time and stuff before like having to head to your meeting. But we happen to have the code because we stayed there that weekend.
Yep.
Like we camped there that weekend, and you had like drove back from our house like to get the drone stuff.
Yep. So
you happen to have the code.
They didn't send me the code because they didn't expect me to get there that early, but like, you're approved for this day.
Right.
But then I was like, I need to get there early, and I didn't think to say what is the code because I don't ask for those things because I wouldn't have needed it. Yeah. Anyways,
it worked out. Basically.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, Mr. Jones will see you now, and that's Mr. John. That's John Alvis, the park superintendent. Didn't record that part, but
yeah,
it's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, if anyone was wondering,
a little lore
how I got drone footage
of a state
park legally. This is all I'm trying to authenticate it and kind of prove, because I know that I've seen others, where you just kind of take a drone off, but there was nobody there to bother. They wouldn't have approved it if it was impacting any wildlife. And 3, it was a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, we follow the rules.
Yeah, I got that from Heather.
Yeah.
So
I was,
because I would have been in more, actual trouble if I just threw all that out the window. So, but it's good. It's good to follow the rules because there's reasons that they exist, and it's just a little more work to get approved. And if you're serious about it, like, trying to make it work. I mean, I did.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
I did have work too that day. And so I wasn't going to let that.
You sure did
stop me.
Try to make it work. Yep.
But that's the end of the video.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. I mean, like, I would say that, like, this is probably, like, the most dense perspectives video so far. Like, it was there was a lot packed into it, because it's like, like your drone approval and like what you were doing to get that, but also you were camping with your family, and like also just the place itself is like very significant to you, and yeah, it's like it's a lot. Yeah,
pretty crazy. So that's why it's 21 minutes. I know I said I tried to keep it under that amount of time, but I also wasn't going to do no two-parters. We only had one intro for it, so I wasn't going to do like we did with Meridian either, where it's 2 parts, because it needed it all be in one.
I think the context of it all needed to be like together too, to show like how, I don't know, it was very special, and it'll remain special, and now it's like immortalized or whatever. But yeah, that's, if you're able to, I would like to know how those feelings sort of rise and fall with the video too, which is also like if it translates, you mean?
Yeah. It just to whoever, or you, if you know, you,
it does for me, but I also realize that I have like
you've been
have a lot more
this.
context behind it, and so I understand it on a deeper level. But yeah,
it's about the feeling, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like the first time you showed me the part where you're like, for me at least, there's nothing like it for me at least, and then it goes to the freaking music. Like I remember it, like it felt like your hair getting blown back or whatever. Like you're like, oh, okay.
What's all that?
Because it is like very serious, and it feels like dramatic, but not in a sense of like, oh my gosh, you're being so dramatic, like in a sarcastic way. It's like that, like it translated to me like, oh, this is dramatic, like this is a very special like place for you, a very it's a very beautiful place, and I feel like you like did it justice, you know. Like it was cool that you even had the opportunity to like get that footage. It's really cool that we've had the opportunity to get any footage that we've ever gotten. Like it's all a gift. But yeah, I think you're using you're using your gifts, you know. And I'm proud of you, because I know that was a lot to like even go through, like for you personally. Not to like put you on the spot or anything, but that was like a lot of footage to go through and a lot to unpack on a lot of different levels, you know. So.
And that's episode 10 of Reflections. So thanks for following along this jam-packed journey of either emotion or beauty or whatever you want to take away from it. But yeah, it is my family, and I was like, I can't skip this. I recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's a part of, we already started it, gotta finish it. So that's a part of confronting these things for me personally, is like, oh, yep. Yeah. I gotta do it, you know?
These places are like meaningful to us.
Yeah.
Like they're a part of our story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a big one, because foundation of my camping experiences was at that park. So
with the people in the video. Yeah.
So, but
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Next week will be a little less dense. Palmetto. I
Who
think you haven't started going through the footage yet, so who knows what we'll find.
Good
but
grief.
And from memory, it was
it's pretty chill.
Chill compared to this, for sure. Yeah.
So, you know, watch at your own risk.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you. Have a great evening, morning, night.
Whatever it is to you.
Noon.
Oh.
See ya. Go there, do that.